Alex was an ordinary man who lived in a small town. Every day he worked hard, but he had a big dream: to learn English. Alex knew that speaking English would open new doors for him. He could travel to new places, meet new people, and even get a better job. But there was one problem. Learning English seemed so hard. Every time Alex opened his textbook, he felt frustrated. The words seemed difficult and he couldn't remember them. He tried to listen to English podcasts, but he didn't understand much. He felt like he would never be able to speak English well. Why is learning English so hard? He thought. There must be a better way. One evening, as he walked home from work, Alex met a stranger on the street. The man was older, with a friendly smile, and he spoke to Alex in English. "Hello," said the man. "How are you doing with your English?" Alex was surprised, but he answered, "Not great. I'm trying to learn, but it's hard." The stranger nodded knowingly. "I can see that. Many people struggle with English the traditional way. But there are secrets they don't teach you in textbooks." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Secrets? What do you mean?" The stranger smiled and began to explain. "You see, learning English is not about memorizing every word in a book. It's about listening and speaking. Most people start with grammar and vocabulary, but that's the hardest way." Alex was confused. "But isn't grammar important?" "Of course, but it's more important to practice speaking first," the stranger said. "Start listening to English every day, even if you don't understand everything. The more you listen, the more you will learn. Then speak. Even if you make mistakes, just speak." Alex was skeptical, but decided to give it a try. The next day, he listened to an English podcast during his walk. It was slow and simple, but he couldn't understand much. He felt frustrated again, but he remembered the stranger's advice and didn't give up. That night, Alex watched an English TV show with subtitles. He didn't understand all the words, but he noticed that he could understand the general idea of what was happening. It felt like magic. Slowly, English started to make sense to him, even though he wasn't perfect. The next day, Alex met the stranger again. The man smiled warmly and said, "How did it go with the podcast and TV show?" Alex nodded. "It was better than I expected. I didn't understand everything, but I understood some things. It felt different, like I was beginning to get it." The stranger smiled. "Good. Now I will share another secret. The best way to learn is through stories." "Stories?" Alex asked, surprised. "But I don't know many words in English. How can I understand stories?" The stranger laughed softly. "That's the point. You don't need to know every word. When you listen to or read simple stories, you learn new words and phrases naturally. Stories are a great way to practice without feeling overwhelmed. Start with children's books or short stories. These are simple, fun, and they repeat the same words and ideas." Alex felt curious. "Okay, I'll try." That night, Alex found a simple children's book in English. It was called The Very Hungry Caterpillar. The words were easy to understand, and there were many pictures to help him. As he read, he noticed that the same words kept repeating. Eat, hungry, big, and small. He didn't know everything, but the story made him smile. He understood enough to follow what was happening. Over the next few days, Alex read more simple stories. Some of them were about animals, while others were about everyday adventures. Slowly, he started to recognize more words. His vocabulary grew bit by bit, and he realized that reading stories was not only fun but also a great way to learn. Alex's confidence began to build. He was starting to understand more of what people said in English, even without looking at the translation. The stories helped him see how the words connected to the real world, and this made learning feel easier. One afternoon, Alex visited a local cafe and overheard two people speaking in English. They were talking about their day and laughing. Alex listened carefully, trying to understand their conversation. It was like the words were coming together in his mind, just like the stories he had been reading. He smiled to himself. This was progress. The stranger had been right. Stories were helping him understand English better than any grammar rule could. Alex couldn't wait to learn more. The next time Alex met the stranger, he was excited to share his progress. "I've been reading stories and it's helping. I feel more confident now, especially when I listen to people speak." The stranger nodded. "That's great, but now I will share the third secret, immersion." "Immersion?" Alex repeated. "What do you mean?" Immersion is when you surround yourself with English all the time. Even if you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can make your environment English-friendly. "This will help you learn faster," said the stranger. Alex was curious. "But I don't know how to do that. I can't just move to an English-speaking country." The stranger laughed. "No need to move. Immersion can happen in small ways. First, change your phone's language to English. That way, you'll see English every time you check your phone. Second, label the things in your house. For example, put labels on the door, the refrigerator, the chair, and other objects. Every time you see them, you'll be practicing English words." Alex thought for a moment. "That doesn't sound too difficult. I can try it." Over the next few days, Alex made small changes. He switched his phone to English and added labels to everything in his apartment. At first, it was strange. He had to think for a moment when he saw the words. But soon, he started recognizing the English words without thinking. Door, table, window, book. His brain was becoming used to seeing English everywhere. Alex also began to think in English, even if it was just for a few moments. He would say simple sentences in his mind like, "I am making breakfast," or "The cat is on the chair." It felt a little funny at first, but soon it became natural. One evening, Alex went to the grocery store and saw a woman struggling to find an item. She looked at Alex and asked, "Excuse me, where is the sugar?" Normally, Alex would have been too shy to answer, but today he felt ready. "Aisle 3, he said, pointing. "It's near the flour." The woman smiled. "Thank you." Alex's heart raced. He had just spoken in English without thinking too much. His practice was paying off. A few days later, Alex met the stranger again. "How's everything going?" the stranger asked. Alex smiled. "I feel like I'm making real progress. I'm even starting to speak with people in English." The stranger nodded. "That's excellent. But there's one more thing I want to teach you. Don't be afraid of mistakes." Alex looked confused. "Mistakes? But don't I need to speak perfectly?" The stranger shook his head. "No, mistakes are part of learning. The most important thing is to practice. If you are afraid of making mistakes, you won't speak at all. The more you speak, the faster you will learn." Alex thought about this for a moment. He had made a few mistakes when speaking English before, and it had made him nervous. But the stranger was right. If he was too afraid of mistakes, he would never improve. So Alex decided to embrace his mistakes. The next time he spoke English, he didn't worry about getting everything right. He made a mistake when talking to a shopkeeper, but instead of feeling embarrassed, he laughed and corrected himself. To his surprise, the shopkeeper smiled. "No problem, your English is great. Keep going." Alex felt proud. He was learning, and making mistakes was part of that process. The more he spoke, the easier it became. After a few more weeks, Alex had made incredible progress. He could understand English more easily, speak with confidence, and even enjoy conversations with native speakers. However, he was still eager to learn more. One afternoon, as he sat in the park, the stranger appeared again. "You've come a long way," the stranger said, looking proud of Alex. Alex smiled. "Thank you. I'm really starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of this." "But what's the final secret? You've already shared so much with me." The stranger sat down beside him. "The final secret is simple but powerful. Learning English should be fun." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Fun? But it feels like a lot of work sometimes." The stranger laughed. "It's all about how you look at it. If you treat learning English like a boring task, it will always feel hard. But if you find ways to make it enjoyable, you'll want to practice every day." Alex thought for a moment. "How can I make it fun?" "Start by doing things you love, but in English," the stranger suggested. "For example, if you enjoy watching movies, watch them in English. If you like music, listen to songs in English and try to understand the lyrics. If you like games, find English language games or join online games with people from different countries." Alex's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing! I love watching movies and listening to music. I never thought about doing those things in English." That night, Alex decided to watch an English movie without subtitles. At first, he struggled to understand, but as the movie went on, he began to pick up more words. By the end, he was smiling. He had understood so much more than he had expected. The next day, Alex joined a language exchange group online. He chatted with people from around the world. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun. He laughed at his mistakes, and others laughed with him. The more he spoke, the more he enjoyed the experience. The stranger was right. Learning English wasn't just about studying grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. It was about having fun, enjoying the process, and finding new ways to practice every day. A few months passed, and Alex felt like a completely different person. He could speak English confidently and comfortably. He no longer feared making mistakes or struggling with new words. He realized that every small step forward, every mistake, and every conversation had helped him improve. One day, Alex returned to the park where he had first met the stranger. He sat on the same bench, feeling proud of how far he had come. The stranger appeared again, as if by magic. "You've done it," the stranger said, smiling. "You've learned the final secret. Learning English is not a chore. It's an adventure, a journey that can be full of joy and discovery." Alex nodded. "I never thought I could learn English this quickly. It's been so much fun, and I feel more confident now than I ever thought possible." The stranger looked at him warmly. The secret to learning any language is to keep going. There will always be new things to learn, but if you enjoy the process, you'll never stop improving. As the stranger disappeared into the distance, Alex felt ready for whatever came next. He knew that learning English was a lifelong journey, but now he was prepared to enjoy every step of the way.